In today's video, we're going to talk about some wild rumors that literally every project Marvel has is being delayed. Secret Wars is being pushed to 2028. We're going to break this down properly because a lot of this doesn't really make much sense when you think about how it has to chronologically slide into the DM. So, yo, what is good, YouTube? Warstu here. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Marvel, DC, pop culture-based content that we cover on a daily basis. If you could subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know down below, do you believe all this information that's going around the Twitter sphere, but it's actually come from Reddit? And also, if you could, check us out on Twitter, WarstuG, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. So it's worth saying, anything that comes from Reddit may not be true, but the plot leak for the following: Ant-Man 3, Thor 4, Multiverse Madness, even though they did reshoots, it was still right. And also, Wakanda Forever. Literally the last 4 Marvel movies have been bang on, at least 80% true. So there are a lot of inconsistencies here, and there's a lot of people not really knowing what they're on about. So Marvel's been on a really bad run, in my opinion, since Multiverse Madness, really. I mean, that's a bit of a strong opinion. It really has been on a bad run since then. So what happened at Disney is Bob Iger set everything up for Bob Chapek to take over, and Bob Chapek wasn't really in charge for maybe a year or so, maybe a little bit less. So everything that happened while Chapek was there was really set up by Iger. So Iger comes back, Chapek gets fired, and everyone blames Chapek, and everyone's like, yeah, Bob Iger's going to delay everything, he's going to change and make a bunch of changes. It was Bob Iger behind everything. I don't understand this narrative that people were trying to push. So it's interesting. I will leave a link down below if I remember. So this multiversal saga was supposed to be Phase 5 and Phase 6. But according to this Reddit post, and this Reddit subreddit has been quite reliable, the Multiversal Saga is now going to be Phase 5, 6, and 7, and will spam throughout 2028. Now, I do believe, I've been told this by a lot of people, that Secret Wars will be moved into 2 movies, but that doesn't necessarily make everything right here, because we are going from this mindset that there's going to be a huge tonal change at Marvel, which I do believe is true, but it's not going to be a Netflix Daredevil tonal change. So, New World Order, which is the Captain America movie, and Thunderbolts will be Winter Soldier level dark. And yeah, it's just been confirmed that John, as the Punisher, is coming back in the Daredevil, which is cool, but if it's not Netflix Daredevil dark, it's Winter Soldier dark. That's not really dark, but it's a tonal change in the right perception. Since people aren't sure what I meant, they are political thrillers using the comic book characters as metaphors for real life and real world circumstances. Red Hulk is a prime example of this. Cool. New World Order and Thunderbolts touch on supremacists, ideology, the way Winter Soldier touched on government surveillance. So there's a lot to go over in this video, and this video may be a little bit long. So I do find it very fascinating when information like this comes out, because a lot of people would discredit it. But to be honest, most of the information that's come out in this certain post and certain board has turned out to be true, turned out to be way true. So the slate is nothing like what we saw at San Diego Comic-Con. It was rushed. They didn't really reveal that much. They just said a bunch of stuff and didn't have anything to show. They want longer gaps, quality over quantity, but due to how they tell stories, there can't be too many big gaps, but the aim to try to not to have main universe shows overlapping with movies. About a month, give or take, between shows, and even some specials will be treated as movie in terms of overlap, and they're actually actively working to help the VFX artists. Problem, all they need to do is give the VFX artists more time, not necessarily more money, more time. Stop doing reshoots. Reshooting part of the Ant-Man ending 1 month to go. Of course there's going to be issues. Hiring more people to spread the workload more kindly. Filming earlier when possible. To extend deadlines, basically they want to make a better working environment for the cast and crew. Well, yeah, duh, that's kind of obvious. Most of the stuff on Reddit is kind of obvious information. So, we know Ant-Man Quantumania is coming out. We know Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 won't be delayed. That's coming out in May, because that's really going to have nothing to do with anything outside of maybe post-credit scene. So, we know the Marvels has been pushed back to November, and that's a different story. So, the rumor going around is the Marvels is going through a huge reshoot. The third act is being reworked. The tonal change is going to have be slightly different. They're going to trim out some of the goofier stuff. And it's also allegedly the third act may not actually have an incursion anymore, which would be insane because if they're trying to build up this Council of Kangs versus the whole MCU, it doesn't really make much sense. But the source did go on to say he hasn't had this part confirmed, but my sources saying the movie is going to focus on, well, the reshoots will focus on fixing the third act. It's reminding of what they did in Quantumania. Marvel may be allergic to bittersweet endings now. So it's interesting. Marvel seems to want to do a load of reshoots. So Secret Invasion apparently is coming out sometime between May and June. Delayed from March to give audience a bigger break. Loki Season 2, July the 26th to August. Source says later started that Loki has been delayed to August. This could very well have a knock-on effect and delay other shows by a month or two. Echo, I mean, a lot of these is loose. October 2023, swapped with Ironheart, original slot brought forward, early 2024. Now, a lot of these aren't even confirmed, but I think it's fun to go over them. Mephisto Halloween Special Season 2023 will be shot with Agatha. Century Holiday Special 2023 will be shot with the Thunderbolt Special. The holiday time won't always be holiday themed. Ironheart early 2024 brought up to give Daredevil and Wonder Man time to not overlap project. Daredevil Born Again spring 2024 brought up to not overlap with the Thunderbolt. Captain America 4 May 2024. I Am Groot shorts mid 2024. Thunderbolts July 26, 2024. Deadpool 3, September the 6th, 2024. Brought up because it'd be ready before Blade. So, I mean, most of these aren't even announced yet. Wonder Man, fall 2024, delayed to not overlap with Deadpool. Brought up from the past. Delayed due to not overlapping with Blade. Man-Thing, Halloween Special 2024. So, a lot of this you could say, yeah, sure, bro, that might work. But it's the next one that I think is completely ludicrous. And I don't actually believe a lot of this stuff because a lot of this stuff is like rumor. It's like Twitter scooper level stuff, which could be made up if you wanted, I guess. So Blade is apparently going to be in phase 6. Continuity issue here is the Multiverse Saga is supposed to be phase 5 and 6, but now it's going to continue into phase 7. Phase 7 was supposed to be the mutant phase. So Blade in 2024, November, after multiple delays, the film has a slot, does it though? Silver Surfer Holiday Special, end of 2024. We've heard about that. Agatha, Covenant Chaos, late 2024, early 2025. Delayed to prioritize other shows. Fantastic Four, February 2025. It's not even been confirmed properly. Spring 2025. Armor Wars. Okay, no one cares for that. What If, Season 2, middle of 2025. I think a lot of these are just guessing. Young Avengers still not being announced. 2025, July. Midnight Angel not being confirmed. 2025. Ghost Rider Halloween Special 2025 not confirmed. Zombies, October 2000, not confirmed. Shang-Chi 2, November the 7th, 2025. Nova Holiday Special 2025. Spider-Man 4, December the 19th, 2025. Delayed to not overlap with Thunderbolts due to scheduling. Won't be ready for the spot earlier in the year. Strange Academy, late 2025, early 2026. Doctor Strange 3, 13th of February, 2025. Brought up to before Kang's Dynasty. Miss Marvel, spring 2026, guessing before Kang's Dynasty. Avengers Kang's Dynasty 2026, delayed to set up other movies beforehand. Now, a lot of this is pretty much guesswork. A lot of these projects aren't even confirmed by anyone at all. I've said for the longest time they need to push the Kang's Dynasty back in order to set up a lot of things before that. Otherwise, what was the point of setting up Doctor Strange to have a huge role for him not to have a role in Kang's Dynasty? Phase 7, which is supposed to be the mutants phase, but now apparently it's part of the Multiversal Saga. So the Multiversal Saga is going to go on to 2028. Phase 7, created as Battleworld Saga. Interesting, but if they're doing Secret Wars properly, then yeah, sure, they would have to do that. Moon Knight Season 2, middle of 2026. Midnight Suns, July 2026. She-Hulk Season 2, fall 2026. So they're having a lot of things happening. Guess it will be before World War Hulk. Halloween Special 2026. Heavy grain of salt. It could be Black Knight because of the Midnight Suns and Eternals. World War Hulk, November 2026. Change from a show to accommodate budget and we'll have the rights back. Guessing. A lot of this is guesswork, but a lot of people talking about it on the internet like it's real, so I thought I'd go over it. Untitled Holiday Special 2026. Yes, could be literally anything. What if, it's interesting, it's talking about what if season 3 before season 2 has actually been announced, well, properly, I guess. Early 2027. If the 3rd season ever happens, it'll probably end up here. Eternals 2, February 2027. Illuminati, spring 2027. Now, this is, I believe this whole post is made up, but stuff from Reddit does turn out to be true. Avengers Secret Wars, May the 7th, 2027, possibly 2028, delayed for setup as well as production delays. Avengers Forever, July the 30th, 2027. Secret Wars could be split into 2 parts. It's 50-50 now. If it does happen, it'd be no projects between the 2, and Forever will be focused on being the last hurrah for the Infinity Saga characters, and more accurate to the 2015 Secret Wars by being character driven and not I know that character driven. Not that that's all Secret War will be, but again, don't be shocked if this one doesn't happen. Note, we also have heard the title Avengers Eternity Wars, and if Secret Wars was split, we believe this move could culminate on its 20th anniversary. So a lot of this sounds made up to me, to be honest, but for some reason people really believe that Secret Wars will be split into 2 movies. Now it goes way beyond this, and this part coming up now, I don't know what to think of it, but it is interesting. So we know Scarlet Witch, we know Elizabeth Olsen is going to return, but here the Scarlet Witch film, No More Special, a Monica Rambeau series are ideas floated to happen after Secret Wars plus Deadpool 4, but Ryan Reynolds said he only wanted to return to do 1 movie in the MCU. Marvel recognizes no one will want to jump in after Secret Wars because the hours of content could jump into multiple hundreds, especially by canonizing things like the SSU, TASM, Fox Men, Netflix, Hulu, ABC shows, a bunch of past projects. So the plan is to, after Secret Wars, do a similar thing in the comics. The Ultimate Universe, basically a fresh start universe alongside the main one to try and get new viewers. And it have less content than the MCU to use as a permanent jumping on point as the plan for the MCU to one day end. So after Secret Wars, basically reset everything with no returning characters. By the end of phase 7 or 8, no characters, at least the major ones from the Infinity Saga, will be left. They're not left already. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, all the main characters are basically gone. With Kang's Dynasty and Secret Wars being their massive last hurrah, and the ones that remain for phase 8, but phase 7 was supposed to be the mutants, like the new mutants that Marvel would cast. See what I mean? I do like going over this, but I see this more as a theory. Phase 8 will be gone by the end, or at least sidelined, similar to Steve Rogers in Endgame, with a chance of maybe coming back for the finale. That's not a guess. That's Marvel's intention. Freshman year is not cancelled. Sources agree with the Cosmic Circus that the final matchup, exploring, leading into the next Avengers film, will be pitting Doctor Strange versus Kang. As cool as Doctor Strange versus Kang seems, I don't know. I really don't know. Everything is delayed, but nothing is actually delayed. And there's a Mephisto Century special releasing later this year. It's a lot to take in because they've not even announced half this stuff. This just seems to me like some random Twitter scooper has wrote a massive post, and somehow it's the Tales on the Marvel Studios spoiler subreddit. But like I've said before, literally the last 5 Marvel movies have been spot on from the subreddit. So you've kind of somewhat got to agree with it. 2028 is the end of the saga, the end of phase 7, but Secret Wars is supposed to be phase 5 and phase 6. If they're splitting the final Avengers movies into 2 parts, at least the second movie will release in 2028. I personally think there should be a year between Kang's Dynasty, then Secret Wars, and if they're going to split Secret Wars into 2 movies, have a year in between them. I don't think 6 months in between them is long enough. They need more breathing room, sure, but with this slate, with all this information, if it's true, there's even more projects here than there was before. So this whole agenda that Kevin Feige is going to space stuff out, less pressure on the VFX team, less pressure on the editors, this is going to be more pressure because it's not like Disney will be hiring more people, although this trusted sources and unverified, I'll leave the link down below, most of this comes from unverified sources, suggests there's going to be even more work than before with lesser known characters, because we can't get to Secret Wars without them introducing some version of the Fantastic Four, and all these lesser characters like Shang-Chi, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, they're all going to have movies or TV series in order for the audience to actually give a damn. And that's the problem about Kang's Dynasty. At the moment, people want Kang to win because there is no Avengers that anyone actually cares for. To be honest, without RDJ and without Chris Evans, no one really cares. They've ruined Thor's character, so... Yo, Warstu, you're so negative. No, I'm not. I'm just thinking out loud. They've got a lot of work to do. Now, if they are going to bring out World War Hulk before Secret Wars, sure, but that's really only the Hulk. I mean, this is fascinating to me, but is it real? I don't know. It's like saying, yeah, we're going to bring out less movies, we're going to give the editors and the VFX artists more time, but then you're throwing out even more project than before. And now we've gone from phase 5 and phase 6 to a whole phase 7, and now the multiversal saga spans from 2023 all the way to 2028. I think a lot of this is made up, but as I said on Twitter, I think 20% of this could be real. I do think they are splitting Secret Wars into 2 movies. Do think it will be pushed. Whether it's 2027, not 2028, I don't know, but it is interesting that they seem to be pushing a lot of stuff here. What if Illuminati's, Eternals 2, Midnight Suns, which I've wanted for such a long time, but there is so many characters to introduce before we get to Secret Wars that a lot of this, even if it is made up, could end up being true in a roundabout way. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful voice. Check us out on Twitter at WarstuJ. And I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.